Yo, what's going on, guys? Crispy Flakes here. Welcome to Extra Crispy. For today's video, we got a video by my guy, Hoops Reference. Link to his channel in the description below. Titled 2022 NBA Mock Draft After March Madness Edition, man. So I think this is like the official mock draft right here. Because at this point, you know, like, we know what we know about these college players and stuff. Like, you know, we know who choked in the tournament. We know who stepped up and everything like that. And, yeah, the next time these dudes play basketball, like, in a professional setting, it's going to be for an NBA team. So, let's check this out. I'd like to congratulate Kansas for winning the championship. Not the Michigan Wolverines. Bro, I was actually low-key rooting for Duke, man. Well, after Michigan was eliminated, because, you know, man, Coach K brought us, like, Luke Kennard and everything like that. But, yeah, man, let's get going on this. At this point, who do I want in Detroit? Honestly, there's like 5 dudes I'd be happy with. Like, if the Pistons get a top 5 pick, I will be a happy Crispy Flakes. Like, it's a very deep draft class, at least allegedly. We'll see in about 3 years. Well, the way we are now as NBA fans, like, in 2 months, we're ready to call NBA players bust and stuff like that. But let's get it. Yeah, I don't know, man. Maybe a shooting guard in Detroit, but
well, that sure was
I think one of the big dudes too, maybe Jabari.
As always, March Madness this year was filled with ridiculous amounts of excitement and intrigue. We saw
maybe Hunter
plenty
Dickinson,
of upsets
#1
and
pick.
Cinderella stories go down, and in regards to what we're discussing today, many of the top prospects in this year's draft played themselves up draft boards on the big stage. Every month, I post a mock draft leading up to
I haven't paid too much attention
to stay up to date on where the best
draft
players
classes,
in
to
the
be
draft
honest.
stack up against each other, and to try to start to find some good fits for them in the league. And since the last one I posted came before the tournament started, it only seems right for the next one I post now to come after.
Oh, for sure, you learn a lot about players.
Before we start, though,
hey, we got prize picks. Who's my man? Hoop references code. What's his code here, man? Promo code reference. Let's get it. All right.
Starting things off with the first pick
Paolo
in the draft,
Banchero
the Orlando
to the Magic.
Select Paolo Banchero from
Now he needs to go to Detroit.
I'll admit, I was a little shaky on how I perceived Banchero as a prospect going into the tournament, but he put
him and
on
Wendell
a
could be
show
kinda nice.
throughout it and led his Duke team to the Final Four, playing exactly how a top pick should play on the big stage. His footwork, finishing ability, post-game, and shooting at his size, all while demonstrating improved court vision and decision.
Could be like a more mobile
a lot
Anthony
of
Davis,
that me and
which
many
is saying a
others
lot.
likely had about him, and the Magic would surely welcome him with open arms at the top here.
You got some handles.
Next up with
Chet
the
to
second
the
pick,
Rockets.
the Houston Rockets select Chet Holmgren from Gonzaga. Holmgren remains a player that people are either really high on or kind of low on, and his performances in March Madness
Yeah, he's skinny
showed
as hell. I can
exactly
see why,
that is.
but
He was stuffing the stat sheets, grabbing
so
a
was
ton of
KD.
rebounds, and blocking countless shots every game, but he didn't really shoot it all that well, and he was in foul trouble a bit because teams continually went right at him to test his strength.
Honestly, I'm indifferent.
I'm confident that he's a better shooter than what he showed in the tournament, but his frail frame is something that could prove to be a real concern, but all in all, he is a phenomenal defender, and the positives in his game outweigh the
Yeah, because like you never really know with like yo Jabari. Yeah, you never really like know with like players and stuff because I mean, like I said, like sometimes like the weight ain't like a big deal. You know, guys like KD or Kristaps Porzingis, I remember being pretty skinny and lengthy and stuff. But then you also got dudes like Thon Maker, where it's just like he just couldn't operate with how his body was. So we'll see.
Up next with the third
Jabari
pick, the
Smith
Detroit
Jr.,
Pistons
man.
select Jabari Smith from Auburn.
Man, got some
Smith's
length.
tournament run ended pretty early after they got upset by Miami.
That's all right.
And Smith himself didn't exactly play great that day.
You just gotta be number
shooting
2
just 3
Cade.
of 16 from the field and 1 of 8 from 3 in that loss. It definitely wasn't the kind of showing you would expect from a number 1 pick, but at the same time, it's just one game, and
Man,
we're not
his
here to
bills.
overreact too
Damn,
much
bro.
to one game because he has an entire season's worth of impressive two-way performances to go off of. The top
that shit.
3
Get
of
outta
this
here.
draft is so close though, and there isn't a clear top prospect like in years past, so Smith unfortunately comes in at third.
Hey,
for
just won't be
now
taking no
because
Anthony
of
Bennett.
Next up with the
Jaden
fourth
Ivey.
pick, the Oklahoma City Thunder
kid's a baller
select
right here,
Jaden
man.
Ivey from Purdue. Ivey had an up-and-down tournament overall, showcasing so many things to
Loki
love
wouldn't
with
mind
his
him
quickness,
next to Cade.
dynamic athleticism, and aggressiveness with shot-making ability, but he also showcased some concerns with his feel for the game and ability as a passer and playmaker. There's still way too much upside to pass on with him though, and he's still the best
Who'd you all
of the
compare
next
him
tier
to?
of talent this year, so he comes in at number 4 overall. Up next with the fifth
Keegan
pick,
Murray.
the Indiana Pacers select Keegan Murray from Iowa. Murray and his Iowa team also unfortunately had a short stint in the tournament, getting upset in the first round, but the loss definitely wasn't on Murray, who still scored an efficient 21 points and continued to show
related
the
to Flip?
versatility
Flip
on
Murray?
both ends of the floor that draft scouts
Or Ronald
love
Murray,
from him.
his full name.
He's long, he's agile, and
Flip
he's highly
Murray.
skilled for a forward, so in the NBA, he projects to be a quality secondary scorer who impacts the defensive end of the floor at a high level as well.
All right.
Next up, with the
Shaedon
sixth
Sharpe.
pick in the draft, the Portland Trailblazers select Shaedon
Sharpe
Sharpe from
shooter.
Kentucky. Sharpe, as I have mentioned in the last few times in these mock drafts,
got some
remains the
athleticism.
biggest mystery of the class because of the fact that we don't even know for sure yet whether he'll be entering
Bro, that's
this
just
year's
like Jalen
draft
Green, man. He
along
playing just like Jalen Green does. Damn, bro. So Jalen was drafted, what, number 2 overall? And you can go ahead and get this, this kid here at number 5. So, yeah, that's like Jalen Green right there,
the
man.
fact that he
Wow.
didn't even play a game for Kentucky this year, but I remain incredibly high on his potential after he reclassified to this
Dude's
year's
a bucket,
draft class,
damn, bro.
while previously being the top-ranked recruit for next year. The Blazers have their point guard of the future in Anthony Simons, so adding Sharpe in alongside him in that backcourt at the shooting
Yo, I
guard
want Shaedon
position
Sharpe, man.
could become a lethal
I want
thing
Shaedon
down the
Sharpe.
line. Next up, with
AJ
the
Griffin?
7th pick, the
Yeah,
Sacramento Kings
yeah.
select AJ
This bitch ass can stay out of Detroit, man, because he's probably related to Blake. And I'm not paying another Griffin another cent ever again.
Griffin from Duke. Griffin is another player who had a pretty up-and-down tournament where he looked tremendous.
That's probably like Blake
creating
Griffin's
off the
little brother
dribble
or something
and
like that. Can he
shooting it
dunk?
at times,
Let's see.
while other times his lack of athletic burst was noticeable. The reason why the risk feels worth it with him is because he's one of the youngest players in the entire draft, and he very well may still be recovering from the injuries that he suffered last year, so
Kinda
the
looking
hope
very
is that
Blake-esque.
eventually he'll get back to where he was before those injuries when he was more explosive. Up next, with the
Johnny
8th pick,
Davis.
the New Orleans Pelicans select Johnny Davis from Wisconsin. Davis's production
Yo,
tailed
whatever
off a
happened to
bit
the
near
one
end of
dude?
the season.
I think he went to UCLA, like Drew Zhang or something like that. Did he ever make it to the NBA? Because I thought he stayed for another season and people were like really high about him. Johnny Drew Zhang. That sounds familiar, right? Is that a name, or is that just thoughts in my head?
But it
Gotta look
feels
it up now.
unfair
Gotta
to
look
hold
it
that
up now.
against him, as he
Look it
was
up.
playing through an ankle injury that he suffered late
doing?
in the
What's he
year
doing?
to try to help his team win. Before that ankle injury
Drew Zhang,
happened,
right?
he was one of the best scorers in the country, so I anticipate NBA scouts will be taking note of that and
Yeah,
focus
UCLA.
on what he can be once he's back to 100% health. Next up, with the 9th pick, the San Antonio Spurs select
damn.
Jalen
Ankle
Duren
injury.
from Memphis. Duren actually matched up with Chet Holmgren in the tournament this year, but Holmgren got the better of him as Duren struggled throughout that game against Gonzaga.
Could this kid shoot?
Admittedly, Duren isn't much of a scorer in the post, so his upside offensively is kind of limited, but if you're drafting
Yeah, I'm getting like maybe like Bismack Biyombo vibes or something like that. Like, you know, like dominated the college scene and everything, that because obviously like NBA body and stuff might be able to bring you like some defense, stuff like that. But yeah, dude looking like a role player.
him, you're doing so knowing full well that his strengths come in the areas of rebounding, protecting the rim, getting out in
Like a Reggie
transition,
Evans.
and operating pick and rolls where he excels as the roll man. Next up, with the 10th
Like his
pick,
name,
the Washington
Benedict.
Wizards select Benedict Mathurin from Arizona.
What a cool name.
I mention this every time I make a mock draft just to keep hammering it home.
I call
but
him the
this year's
solution,
draft
'cause
class
math.
is filled with quality scoring talent on the wing and at the guard positions, and Mathurin definitely falls into that category. He had some electrifying performances in the tournament,
range.
including a game where he scored 30 in a crazy comeback win against
Damn.
TCU. Mathurin's biggest concern is staying engaged defensively, but he has great size and tools to
Had the same
improve
issue when
there
I was in
as he
7th
gets
grade.
more experience
They make
under
the
his
team after
belt.
that.
Next up, with the 11th pick,
Ochai
the Portland
Agbaji.
Trailblazers select Ochai Agbaji from Kansas.
Hey, I said that right.
Agbaji is yet another brilliant scoring talent.
Wow,
in
Portland
this
got
year's
17
draft,
picks in the
and
first
he has
round.
shown that he is a flat-out bucket getter on his way to leading his Kansas team to the championship. It's so easy to see how his game will translate to the NBA as a potential 15 to 18 point scorer who hits spot-up threes incredibly efficiently, gets out in transition, and plays tough perimeter defense.
Yeah, it could be a
So
good,
despite being
yeah,
one of
3 and
the
D dude
older
for sure.
prospects, he's
Next on
easily
Fernie.
talent.
Fernie Simons.
Next up, with the 12th
Mark
pick, the New
Williams.
York Knicks select Mark Williams.
That is
from
the
Duke.
most just like basic, like computer generated name I've ever seen. Like that's literally like I hope this kid right here ends up becoming like a 99 overall 2K eventually. But That's literally like the dude that you do like auto-generated draft class, and Mark Williams is on your team all of a
Mitchell
sudden.
Robinson might leave in free agency this summer from the Knicks, and Mark Williams' draft stock has continued to soar throughout the tournament, so this seems like a very good fit. He's a terrific defender and rebounder, he's an active motor around the rim,
though.
finishing at such a reliable rate with opportunities that he gets, and does a ton of the little things that help you win games
Kinda
that
like
don't
Chris
show up
Anderson.
in the box score. Next up,
Birdman.
with the 13th
Tari
pick,
Eason.
Houston Rockets select Tari Eason from LSU. Eason is one of the more versatile forwards in this year's
Jatari
draft
Parker.
as a switchable defender who can defend multiple positions, and offensively,
Hopefully better than Jabari
he gives
Parker,
you a
but
good
injuries.
balance of production across the board. As long as his jumper continues to improve like it has over the course of the year, he definitely has lottery talent in him. And finally, the last
Jeremy
pick of the lottery
Sohan?
belongs to the Charlotte Hornets, and they select Jeremy Sohan from Baylor.
Sohan, okay.
Sohan's showing in the tournament helped him
I like his
a
green hair.
ton, as more scouts got to see how interesting of a player that he
Yo,
is that can play.
I kind of want to do that to my hair, because could you imagine like with the green screen, bro? I look like I'm just like my head just stops. Like, it look kind of funny.
A small ball center in lineups, while also creating offense off the dribble, which creates a ton of mismatches, and is exactly the kind of player that NBA teams
All right,
love
so we
to
could be like a Kyle
He
Anderson.
is positionless
maybe?
with a ton of skill, and on a Charlotte team that likes to get out and run, he would be a perfect fit.
Well, that ain't Kyle Anderson.
And with that being said, that's all I have for you today.
Okay, yeah, I would say overall it's a pretty good summary of the players and stuff like that. Like I said, I've not paid too much attention to the draft class this year, to be honest. Like, this is about the time where I really start digging deep into it, because like we know who players are now officially, and they're, you know, just like their play styles and what numbers they put up and stuff like that. So, yeah, this was really cool. Like, I don't know, like just good summary of all the players. So I'll say I'll agree with the draft. Jabari Smith to Detroit. I'm happy about it. Thank you all so much for watching. Peace out, my friends.